Hello and welcome to Visibly Fit. This is Wendy Pett, and I have another success story for you. I've got my friend Tara here on with me today, and you are going to be blessed. I'm talking blessed beyond blessed when you hear her story because Tara had dealt with 12 years of endometriosis, but I'm going to have her tell her story because when her and I connected, she was kind of at that place of, you know, I got to do something because this is not working. From she was on medication and all kinds of things. But Tara, welcome. I want you to share your story because you have been such an overcomer, and I'm just so proud of your discipline and how God has moved in your life and how Visibly Fit has made a big difference. So tell us a little bit about what you dealt with.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm now 29 years old. And
Yes.
since I was 12, I had dealt with severe pain from endometriosis. And it affected my life tremendously. When I was 12 and all the way through school till I was high school, it was what we would call my normal. I would be like when I was on my period, I would have so much pain that I would be um, fainting
Mm.
and just not only get a couple seconds notice. And so I just remember hanging onto my desk in high school and just gripping it with all my strength so that I wouldn't faint in class.
Because
And
the pain
I knew
was that bad.
it was so bad. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it was unbelievable. So I continued on. I went through life. I took over the counter painkillers, Advil, Tylenol, never ever got checked or anything until I moved into my own apartment after university. And I went to university to become a school teacher, and I became a grade one teacher. And I'm from Canada, so we call grade one here. But
Yes, we hear your cute little accent.
I, I ended up just I looked for an apartment when I was ready to move out of my parents' home, and it affected me so much that we looked for an apartment that everything on one floor,
Wow.
because if I were
Just in
to
case.
faint and fall down the stairs, that would
Yeah.
be awful. So when I started living on my own, the stress of my work, being a grade one teacher, and just learning life alone in my own apartment, and just how to do life, grocery shopping and everything, it was hard. It was really, really stressful. And I remember having so many nights where I'd be brushing my teeth and then I'd wake up and I'd have toothpaste in my hair. I'd be on the bathroom floor
Wow.
and wake up just on the bathroom floor. So it was awful.
That would be
And
debilitating because it would
yeah,
mean that you would probably not be able to live alone at some point. You probably thought to, like I need to have
yeah,
someone here just in case.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was scary. I was
Yeah.
scared.
Hmm.
And taking care of kids in grade one, it just
Yeah.
you
I
want
can't
you
imagine
worry.
that being stressful at all, Tara. A bunch of
Oh,
7 year olds.
yeah, and you're fainting, and then
No.
you go driving and
Oh.
you're pulling to the side to throw up because your pain is so bad.
Mm.
And so I just decided I need to go get help. And I went to many doctors, waited many years for specialists, and was told pain is part of life. You need to deal with it, and just given birth control and more painkillers. And the symptoms, the side effects of those were even worse than when I had been without those. So it
Yeah.
was debilitating.
What meds were you taking?
I took several types of birth control, and what happened was I would get severe headaches, and the walls would look like they were shaking. My doctor told me that that was the signs of the onset of a stroke, and they said, well, I just didn't ask for help because they said pain, you have to deal with it. Went to the next doctor and they said, well, that's not normal, like that's the signs of a stroke. So I kept trying different things. I ended up getting in for surgery, you have to wait years. They say 7 years to get diagnosed with endometriosis is quite
And,
normal. And
and real
that's what it
quick,
was for
Tara,
me.
real quick,
Yeah.
some people may not really know what endometriosis is. And
Okay.
so, as someone who's been through it, I'm going to let you share. I mean, I know what it
Yeah.
is, but I want you to share from your perspective of what you went through and what doctors
Yeah.
told you it was.
Yeah, for sure. Endometriosis is where the endometrial lining of the uterus is dispersed throughout the body. It can attach to different organs in the body, and that's what creates the pain. It's basically inflammation, and the inflammation affects people everywhere. I've heard of people's lungs being affected, their brains, like it's just, it can be anywhere and not just like a female body kind of
Right,
issue.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a scarring kind of
Yeah.
that's kind of the thought behind it. The tissues are
Yes.
scarring, and so yeah, and it causes people not to be able to have children, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things that the doctors had told you, right? That you wouldn't be able to
Yes.
have children.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was devastated when they said it's possible that you could have endometriosis before I was diagnosed. And I was so sad, but I thought I'm just going to thank God that I can be with kids every day in my job. And maybe that's why I'm in this job.
Wow,
So
good attitude.
I was thankful, but I was quite sad. And as I went on through the years, I I ended up getting surgery, and I was 24 years old by the time I got surgery. So I'm counting it as like I didn't have like super debilitating pain until I was like 15, something like that. And then when I was 24, I got surgery, and this was uh, ablation surgery, they call it, and that's where they burn the tissue,
Right.
and the 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 pain was gone. The pain that was debilitating for me was gone for 3 weeks, and then it came back worse than ever before. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, it didn't work for me. It
Right.
didn't work.
Right.
So I was taken from my job at school by ambulance one day, and that was the turning point for me, where I thought I really need to try something else. I can't be taken by ambulance when I'm teaching. This is awful. So I went. I at the time I was dating a great man, and he's now my husband. He walked with me through all of these experiences. In the first 3 years of us knowing each other and being together, we tried 25 different treatments in
Wow.
3 years.
I didn't know
And
that.
it,
25.
it was crazy. Like
Wow.
we had so many treatments on the go, trying natural and trying, like I had a list going so I could go to my doctor and say, these are the things I've tried. I need something else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
different types of painkillers, birth control. We went through an IUD experience that was very traumatic. Once it was out, then like all the symptoms went away that I was dealing with, and the surgery. And so at one quite a few doctors said, as a last resort, you should just get pregnant. And we were not ready for that. We said, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on a child to help me get healthy. What are we going to do in terms of work? Thinking my husband would have to quit his job to take care of our whole family. And so we weren't willing to do that. And it ended up that I did get pregnant at one point, and this was in January of 2020. I I did get pregnant, and it was great news. We were quite happy, and then in February I miscarried,
Yeah.
and that's quite common for people with endometriosis
Right.
to miscarry. But I know across the board, 1 in 4 women have that, and it was devastating. I
Sure.
had um, people that I had imagined that would be there and walk with me through that told me as I was going through it that they did they didn't want to be there. So
Wow.
like be there as in like be there as emotional support, someone to listen. And so I was at my lowest of lows. a few times, and I've only told like my husband this, that a few times I actually almost stepped in front of a semi truck because I was so upset, so
Mm.
at the end of my rope,
Yeah.
because I felt like a burden, and
Oh.
he was there with me. But if I wasn't there, like I pictured, like if I wasn't there, how much better his life would have been. And
Which is a lie.
it was yeah,
Right?
it was really awful. So
Yeah.
um one day I ended up hearing an interview between you, Wendy, and another lady, and I thought I need to talk to Wendy. Like she's
Ah,
oh my goodness, all the natural things that you were talking about, and how you just had such a hope, and just I just knew, I it was like how I knew I needed to marry him. I knew, and so I booked a call, and this was May 11, 2020, and
yes, a Mother's Day
that
kind
day,
of
yep, the
gift to
day we
each other.
talked, I remember it exactly, and we talked, and I decided I'm doing this, and I just knew that I had to try um, something natural, and just the um, things that we had been through. We felt like we had tried everything
Yeah.
short of like having a hysterectomy. Like it just, and that's not even a cure for endometriosis. So um, being at the end of my rope and feeling like I was in such a dark place, I turned to the one thing that I felt like um, that was the only thing in my sight to be able to help me.
Well, I'm so grateful that God put us into each other's life at the right time, because that's how God works, right? He connects the dots when we are in that place of like, what do I do? And He will bring the answer. And He is the answer. We know that, but you know what I mean? He'll bring the right people in your path. And so I'm just so honored and grateful that you had the courage and the boldness to try one more thing, because
Yeah.
again, you'd already gone and done 25 some odd things and you were at your wits end. And so to say no, there's got to be a way, and I'm going to give this my all, and to see the outcome. I'm so just in awe of your discipline and your willingness to step into that space. And I know we've prayed a lot together, and I'm grateful that God helped me too to see the vision for you. And sitting on your lap right now is that vision I had and believed and prayed. Little Melody. Hi, sweet Melody. Hi, baby. We call her Visibly Fit Baby. Hi. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you must tune in to check out this beautiful, beautiful, precious Melody, and of course her beautiful mommy. But yes, it's. I could see the vision for you. God gave me the vision, but He's the ultimate physician. He's the ultimate healer, right?
Yeah.
But He knew that your body needed to be healthy and well in order to be able to conceive. And
Yeah.
so you were already a tiny person. It's not like you needed to release a lot of weight at all. You needed to get healthy from the inside out. And it wasn't just the physical, it was the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, all of it together. And so I think about the results, and I think you released 13 pounds and 10 inches in 7 weeks. And
Yeah.
most people be like, oh, okay, that's okay, whatever. But you weren't after that. Like, that's still
No.
really good. But you weren't after that. You were after a healing. And I always kind of go to the woman with the issue of blood, right? She had that for 12 years,
Yeah.
right? And she reached out to the garment of the one who heals. And I believe that that's what you did. Like, that makes me want to cry more
Yeah.
than anything, because it's not me. It's not, Visibly Fit, the program. Yes, it works. Absolutely. But it's God um, orchestrating it all, and He gets the
Yeah.
glory. And so that's what I'm so excited about.
Yeah.
But you were dealing with so much pain. You were on different medications, which I was just pulling up the side effects. You were on Cymbalta, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for as an antidepressant, and then you were also on another medication we'll talk about in just a second. But Cymbalta, the side effects. Here we go. Ready? Nausea, headache, insomnia. Um, let's see, side effects: bleeding of the intention, ga- gastro tract, liver damage, suicidal ideation, which you had, right? At one point,
Yes.
I don't even know if you were on Cymbalta then. Maybe that was before. But then all kinds of symptoms of patients that have a hard time even getting off of Cymbalta. So, wow, just the side effects alone would make me personally not want to take that med. So
Yeah.
if there's a natural solution, then that would be the answer. And you got off of that antidepressant in about 4 weeks into the 7 week program, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it is, I guess, it is a testament as well that when we are fueling our body with the right nutritional foods, God given foods, and we are honing in on His word and His truth and getting balance in all the areas and emotionally and understanding who we are in Christ, then we can ditch. I mean, everyone's different. I get it. And you might need that as a momentary thing. I'm not dismissing antidepressants for people that are in a severe way, but you can get your body and the chemical makeup on track and balanced if you're fueling your body best and getting the right sleep and all those things. And so
Yeah.
that's what you noticed, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's been since 2020,
Yeah.
and we are doing this interview May of 2022, and so it's been 2 years, Tara,
Yeah.
and God has just blessed the efforts. I mean, right there in your lap with little
Yeah.
melody, that's such a worth it right there.
Yeah.
But you were also on another medication for endometriosis that you were able to get off of. What was that?
It was called Visan.
Okay.
I started taking that just before I talked to you, and it was March 2020. And that one is like, it's quite common from what I hear from ladies who have endometriosis.
Yep.
They say that it takes 3 months for your body to get used to it. So they warn you to just prepare for 3 months of vomiting and headaches and everything.
Wow.
And it's, yeah, it's just not uh, like a desirable kind of
You're like, I'm
one to
already
take.
doing that. Why don't
Yeah.
I do that with medication too?
Yeah. So it's just so amazing to be free from that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have such a beautiful testimony, and it's you know part miracle and part just doing your due diligence
Thank
of
you.
doing the proper protocol. And so you have the authority to speak out on endometriosis because you've been there, you've done that, you've suffered for so many years, and you know the outcome and what's possible. And so, what would you say to somebody as a visibly fit advocate and an endometriosis warrior? What would you say to someone that's listening today that might be questioning, going, "Yeah, right, Tara. You know, I've tried it all too, and I just don't believe." What would you say to them? Like,
I would
get there.
say, I yes, everybody's different, but like there's no denying that God's created God's created these natural foods with everything in them that you need. And he created all of those for a reason. I also believe that he created our bodies so that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Like he made you exactly as he intended. You are made in the image of Christ,
Yeah,
and you are um, he doesn't make mistakes. I think a lot of women with endometriosis, or it's really dear to my heart that women with endometriosis believe that they're broken, that they were somehow made wrong, and God doesn't make mistakes. He made you exactly as he intended to,
yes,
and I really believe that everything works out for good. And maybe you're going through what you're going through right now because there's somebody's life that you're meant to speak into, and how you're supposed to be an ear to listen to somebody. And there, yeah, I think it's just there's so much value in the foods that God's given us that we don't need the engineered, um, processed things and medications that man has made. I think God doesn't make mistakes,
that's
and
right.
he's already given you everything you need.
That's right. He is the ultimate healer, and he's given us the right tools to put in place if we would just do that, right?
Yeah.
And take ownership of our health, right?
Yeah.
And whoever's listening that might be hearing this, and I know you can hear Tara's passion because it's really deep in her heart. She's been through it, been there, done that, and has been on the other side of it. She's had the breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And so I want you to find that hope in Tara's story. And I want you to know that you too are worthy. I mean, I get teary eyed when I see Tara and I see her heart because I love her and little Melody and Aaron, her husband. I love them just so much because of who they are and their willingness to step forward and do the hard work. She did the Visibly Fit exercises. Her energy changed, her sleep changed, and so let's talk a little bit about that too, Tara. Let's talk about the exercises. Let's talk about your sleep, your energy, because I know when you were first married, you were talking about how you had to go to bed like at 6 o'clock at night. You had no
Oh yeah.
energy. So
Yeah.
that puts a strain on a marriage, right?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. I was in bed every night at 6. Every week was actually like just surviving the week. I like just like my it was my husband doing cooking and cleaning and stuff so that I could just get up, go to work, come home, and go back to bed. And the weekends were spent doing trial and error, like let's see if this makes me sick, let's kind of. So it wasn't a life, and the exercises just brought so much newness and newness to me, because it was something that I could do, something that I actually had control over. Like I can go out, put my shoes on, and go out for a walk, and it doesn't matter like if I do it for 20 minutes or 1 hour or whatever. If am in control of this, and it drove me forward to keep doing the things that I could do. I can drink I can drink a green drink. I can, chop up my vegetables and things like that. And it's so amazing how when you make those little steps, like every little step toward the right direction just brings you that much closer to whatever your goal is.
Yeah, and it's basically it's freedom, right?
Yeah.
And it's enjoying life to its fullest, and that's what I get so excited about you and your family. Like it's about living life well, and that's how God intended. And so I'm just so proud of you, Tara, and your discipline and your dedication. And thank you for sharing your story and sharing a little Melody with us. So if you are listening, you're going to definitely want to watch on YouTube as well. But yeah, Tara's got a beautiful story. And if you too are dealing with endometriosis, um, click the link in the show notes or in if you're watching on YouTube, and let's all have a conversation and get you through this. You don't have to go at this alone, and you don't have to be in pain any longer. And the outcome is spectacular, as you can see in Tara's little lap. I just love her dearly, and I can't wait to hold her someday. So thank you, Melody, and thank you, Tara, for being on and sharing your success story with us about being visibly fit. So proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless.